It's Alex here, Victor Kilo 2 Papa Romeo Charlie. Today I'm going to attempt to try and do some repairs on my 351. It has a problem with the squelch. When I turn it on, I'll just demonstrate. When I turn it on, the squelch keeps breaking through. So I'll put it on. There it is on the non-squelch position. When I go back onto the squelch position, you can hear there it's breaking through, off, and then it'll break through again. It appears that the squelch is set far too sensitive on this radio. So what I'm going to do is pull the radio apart and attempt to desensitize the squelch a little bit so that it operates the way that it should. And the way that it should is when it's on the L position, you don't hear any hiss at all, and when it detects the 150 hertz from another radio, it turns the squelch off, and the audio comes through. That's the way it's supposed to work. But this one here, it just keeps clicking on and off, on and off, on and off all the time. Drives you crazy. So I'm going to try and open the radio up and see if we can fix it. To get these things apart, we go to the end that's got the audio sockets on it, and this is the end that comes off first. There's 4 retaining screws. Don't worry, they don't come out completely, so you won't lose them. You undo those, and then we'll have a look and see what we've got underneath. We've got the 4 screws out and pulled the back out. You'll see there's a very, very large sort of a flexible integrated circuit plug, and that plug I'm going to remove from the back of the radio here by simply giving it a gentle pull, and out it comes, which releases the end of the radio. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the 4 bolts on this end and slide the inside out of the shell. Now that I've removed the radio out of the shell, you can see all the modules that make up the radio. Very, very well built. Very, very well built set, this one. And just for your information, notice that the battery terminals are on here. If you look at the shell, there's a plus and minus here. This line, when you put it back together, that plus and minus goes back to marry up with the terminals, because in fact you can put this thing back on the wrong way, upside down, whatever you like. But the way that it has to go back together is just to match up the plus and minus to the battery terminal, and you know you're putting it back the right way. So let's have a look now and see which module we've got to have a look at, and see where the adjustment may be. Just looking at the drawing here for the squelch module on the 351, I find that the squelch level is adjusted by this potentiometer here, which is according to the text R9R2. 9R2 is the little adjustment. So what we're going to have to do is have a bit of an adjust here and see if we can just desensitize that just a little bit so that it operates correctly. So this is module 9 in the unit, module 9. So if we come across here and have a look at the bottom of the unit, I've actually discovered there's module 9. If you look really carefully, you see the R1 and the R2, so it's that one there, R2, and it actually says squelch level. So here's our little potentiometer for adjustment of that. So the next job will be to get the radio back into operation and see if we can make that adjustment. Okay, got the radio set up to do this adjustment. I've plugged my handset back in the back end here. I've put an earth jumper between the back end and the frame, just to make sure that we've got good earth continuity between the 2 parts of the set. Plugged back in our little delicate ribbon cable here, and I'm powering the radio up via an external battery cable at the moment. And what I've done in the meantime, I've had a bit of a look at this potentiometer here, and by turning the potentiometer clockwise, it brings the squelch on all the time, and by just backing it off a little bit anti-clockwise, I was able to get a happy medium where the squelch was turned off all the time on the L position. So in fact, I've desensitized the squelch by turning this here just a little bit anti-clockwise. So let's have a bit of a look and see how I went with my adjustment. So there's the radio off, turn it on. There's the L position. That was the position where the squelch was breaking through all the time. So that's the squelch off position. Back onto the squelch position. And yeah, just listening to that, there's no breakthrough of the squelch anymore, which is good. How does it transmit? I've got a dummy load here connected, so yeah, transmitting very, very well. So now it's a case of slipping the case back on, putting it back together, and seeing if it's behaving itself in the real world. So that's how I desensitized the squelch, and we'll see how we go. Just about to slide the case back on to refit it back on. You'll notice here I've got my plus and minus lined up with my battery terminals, and this is the way that I'll slide the case back on to get it back on correctly. And now that I've got the face back on, carefully replugged in the ribbon cable on the back and simply screw the back on the radio. Okay, we've got the radio all back together again. Again, connected back up this time with the external battery lead. By the way, if you don't have one of these external battery leads, absolutely invaluable for working on these sorts of radios. Just gets the annoying battery having to clip it on and off a set that's pulled apart, almost impossible. So makes life very, very easy. Okay, we've put it all back together. I must say, this poor old radio, she's been apart many times. It's been in the wars, this one, but it still seems to be working quite well. You even see how it's battered up a bit on the inside, I might add as well. So yeah, actually I've got it turned on at the moment. So there it is. There's the non-squelch position, and there's the squelch position. And it's not breaking over anymore, which was quite annoying. This particular radio was destined for vehicle operation in a harness, and couldn't have that thing breaking into the ear hole of the commander. every 5 seconds would have driven him crazy. So yeah, as I say, it's all back together. Let's check the transmit. Yep, transmitting well, and no breaking through of the squelch. By the way, it was only a very, very minor adjustment on that pot. I only had to turn it a very, very small amount just to desensitize that little bit. Of course, the next test will be in the field, talking to another radio to make sure that in fact the squelch operates properly when it detects the 150 Hertz. But I anticipate that will be not a problem. So thank you very much for watching my video, and if you know your 351 needs a little bit of a tickle up on the squelch sensitivity, that's how you do it.